The Russian word sila means strength, force, power, and the siloviki are the men, usually it's the man of power, of strength, and of force. And that is basically a concept that is very difficult to translate because there are no equivalents for that in other countries. And what is meant here is that this is a particular stratum in the Russian elite, which is composed of the representatives of those ministries and those agencies that have power, strength, force, and weapons. And so this is almost a caste within the Russian society. Of course, Putin himself is the main silovik, the main man of power in Russia. He comes out of the KGB and then later the FSB, which is one of the agencies that has weapons and is part of this siloviki stratum. But there are also others who are particularly influential, like Nikolai Patrushev, Sergei Naryshkin, the head of the Security Council and the head of the Foreign Intelligence Service, respectively, or the Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, and others. That means the people who are both formally and informally powerful and represent the ministries or agencies that have weapons. In the last years, it has turned out that the siloviki are the crucial part of the Russian elite before the large-scale invasion of 2022, and especially and even before the 2014 start of the war. There was a debate within Russian studies about how much influence they have. People have talked about different towers, different ecosystems in the Russian elite, but as we have now seen in the last, especially 1.5 years, they are the crucial stratum in the Russian elite. There are certain differences between different representatives of the siloviki, but in general, the siloviki have the mainstream Russian nationalist view of Ukraine as basically a part of Russia, as the Ukrainians as little Russians, and as being part of the Russian Empire. Patrushev distinguishes himself by a particularly virulent form of Ukrainophobia, anti-Ukrainianism. He basically asserts that Ukraine in its current form is an agent of the United States, has been infected by fascism, and has to be cleansed from this foreign influence, and the little Russians have to be brought back in the great Russian nation. The larger ideology that stands behind has been named by, among others, Serhii Plokhy, Pan-Russianism, which means that there is allegedly a larger Russian nation that includes not only the Russians, but also the Belarusians and the Ukrainians. And that is unfortunately a concept that is very deeply ingrained in Russian political thought. It comes out of the 19th century and has been seeing a revival recently. The Russian nation is in this pan-Russian view of the relationships between the Eastern Slavic nations, actually the only nation in the Eastern Slavic realm. And the Ukrainians and Belarusians are just folkloristic groups, subcultures that do not really shape nations, and therefore there can be no Ukrainian and Belarusian nation state. There can be no full national culture of Ukraine and Belarus, and the Ukrainians actually don't exist.